So what are all the different parts of a stairway called? Hi everyone, it's Carol from Discover Interior Design, and I'm so glad you're here. Well, in this video, we are going to take a look at a stairway and locate some common features that all stairways, regardless of style or materials, share. So let's take a look at what those are. So here we have this beautiful staircase, and let's kind of zoom in and take a look at some details about the staircase. The first thing that we'll talk about is a step, and a step really just is a change in elevation. And there are different parts of a step. The first part of a step that we can talk about is called the riser, which is just that vertical part of the step. And the horizontal part of the step is what's called the tread. And on the front of the tread, many times you'll find a nosing, which is almost kind of like a finishing piece to create a nicer look to the front of that tread. And then to hold all of that together, to hold all of these steps together, is what's called a stringer. So a stringer is on either side of all of those steps to hold that entire area, that entire system together. And an interesting tidbit of information about risers and treads is that they are interdependent upon one another, because depending on the height of the riser, that is going to play a role in how wide or how deep that tread will be. They're always in proportion with one another and relate to one another. And then if we zoom out a little bit, we can take a look at all of those railings and posts. And an overall term that's used to describe that railing system is called a balustrade. And the balustrade consists of a railing, which is called the banister, and the posts that are underneath the banister are referred to as the balusters. And an interesting tidbit of information about balusters is that there are spacing requirements required by codes on how far apart you space those balusters. And if you have an older home, or if you have a newer home with kind of a traditional looking staircase, lots of times at the foot of the stairs, at the bottom of the stairs, you'll have a larger post, a larger baluster, and that's called a newel post. And the newel post will have a little top on it called a newel cap. And an interesting tidbit of information about newel post is that it probably derives from an old French word meaning knob or stone, and from the Latin word nodulus, meaning knot. And sometimes you may just have a railing on a wall, or in addition to a balustrade, and we can just refer to that as a railing or a handrail. And when stairs are being designed and installed into a home, one thing they refer to is the rise and run. And what that has to do with is how much space this stairway will need. The rise has to do with how much vertical space that overall stairway will need. And the run has to do with the overall horizontal space that stairway will need. And then another feature that is not necessarily part of a stairway itself, but an integral part of that whole component of that entire system is a landing. And so we'll have a landing at the bottom or the foot of the stairs, as well as a landing at the top of the stairs. And an interesting tidbit of information about landings is that those are also regulated by building codes on how large, how wide and how deep those areas need to be to make sure that it provides plenty of space for everyone to land at the top of the stairs or even have some space before you ascend the stairs. And sometimes we refer to a stairway or a group of steps as a flight of stairs. And so that just refers to a series of steps between one floor and another. And that word flight of stairs probably just came from that meaning of ascending the steps. And then an interesting tidbit of information about the building code definition of stairs and stairways comes from the International Building Code, which is the consolidation of different regulations around safety and standards that builders use in the United States for construction. And they define a stair as having a change in elevation consisting of one or more risers, and then a stairway as one or more flights of stairs. So if you have a stairway in your home or you see one when you're out and about, see if you can take a moment to identify the different parts of that stairway. And please share what you find out in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.